Welcome to Journey to Daybreak. I'm Rita Golden. How important is your belief system in influencing your attitude in everyday life? Nell Mooney, in her book, Beliefs Can Influence Attitudes, tells a fascinating story. In the San Francisco Bay Area, some educators decided to conduct an experiment. They called 3 teachers together and told them that they had been selected because they were the brightest and most capable teachers in the school system. They also told them that for the coming year, they had been assigned 90 of the most advanced and academically gifted students in the area. The administrators said, "We want you teachers to move these students through the school year at their own pace to see how much they will outperform the rest of the school system. Because of their higher IQs, we know they will progress more quickly, but we would like to measure their achievement relative to the other students." The 3 teachers and 90 students had a great school year. After all, the teachers had the opportunity to work with the best students, and the students had the best opportunity to work with the best teachers. At the end of the school year, the students had achieved 20 to 30% above the average of students in the whole area. At that point, the teachers were called in, and the principal said, "I have a confession to make. Your students were not the most intellectually gifted. They were chosen at random, so they were really just an average sampling of students." The teachers responded by saying, "So, the students performed so well because they had the best teachers." The principal said, "I have another confession to make. You were not chosen because you are the brightest and the most capable. Actually, your names were chosen out of a hat." Of course, what the students and teachers had not known was that the experiment was not about IQ, nor was it even about what some are calling EQ, or emotional quotient. It was AQ, attitude quotient. It was to measure the extent to which what we think about ourselves affects our performance, and the results were dramatic. The students and teachers who were told they were the best had believed it and performed the very best. Now I would like to read to you Matthew 6:22-23 from the Message Bible. "Your eyes are windows into your body. If you open your eyes wide in wonder and belief, your body fills up with light. If you live squinty-eyed in greed and distrust, your body is a dank cellar. If you pull the blinds on your windows, what a dark life you will have." Now here is the Reverend Dr. Martha Toney to discuss further on how attitude can affect one's destiny. Dr. Martha.
Greetings, this is Dr. Martha Toney. Well, we've been studying the attitude and character of the Old Testament figure Joseph, and how closely connected his character is to that of Jesus. So I hope you'll hang in with me today as we take the subject of attitude and destiny just a little bit further. Jesus had a lot to say about attitude, especially in this scripture. Listen to Luke's Gospel from the Message translation, chapter 6, verse 45. "You don't get wormy apples off a healthy tree, nor good apples off a diseased tree. The health of the apple tells the health of the tree. You must begin with your own life-giving life. It's who you are, not what you say or do, that counts. Your true being brims over into true words and deeds. Well, Stan Toller, in his book, The Power of Your Attitude, tells of two researchers who studied the power of words for over a 20-year period and how words shape relationships. These two psychologists could predict within a 93% accuracy whether or not a married couple would eventually divorce or not. How could they be so accurate? The answer is simply by listening to them in conversation and the words they used. The researchers videoed a couple trying to solve a problem. They concluded that a couple's happiness had less to do with how they matched in personality and more to do with how they communicated with each other. Listen to this next observation because this can possibly change your life, and I quote, "The psychologists report that it takes hours of positive communication to undo the effect of one single remark. One zinger can erase 20 acts of kindness, the way one candy bar can wipe out 20 minutes of exercise." That's really interesting. I don't know about you, but I find it sobering to read about such a thing. Are you telling me it takes 20 acts of kindness to restore the damage I can do with one hurtful remark? Do you see why attitude is everything? What Jesus was saying to us is that our words eventually can be traced back to our thoughts, and our thoughts can be traced back to who we truly are in the deep recesses of our being. Now, the good news of the gospel is that who we are in those deep recesses can be transformed into someone completely new. And out of the abundance of that transformation on the inside, we can then think new thoughts and ultimately speak new words. Think of the enormous effort it takes, the tremendous amount of activity it requires to undo one unthoughtful word said in anger. It takes 20 deeds of kindness. Think of the efficiency of our lives when we truly get that our words matter. But the point is that we cannot change our words by practicing over and over and over. We must first change the kind of person that would say such words. This analogy is something like it would be when a person simply stops drinking but fails to change the inside that caused the need for a drink. In AA, this is called a dry drunk. One could say to stop communicating ugly words without inside work could be called, quote, a dry mouth maybe. This kind of manipulation would simply not be authentic, and Jesus would never have settled for a fake inauthenticity. Your entire future and mine is determined by the attitude in our hearts that then becomes how we think and then what we say, and then that becomes our destiny. Look now at your own reality and see if you can figure out maybe a little line of your own being. When you first wake up in the morning, do you dread the day? Do you dread being around the person who irritates you, that boss, that friend, the family member? Is the only solution to your problem that of changing your job or leaving your husband or wife or kicking out a dear friend that you've loved for years? Or does it make more sense to see if your own attitude influence the situation in some way? But you say to me, they really are impossible. They really did hurt me. Well, that may be true. And sometimes it is so that people hurt us. But more importantly, have we looked first at our own patterns? Has your attitude influenced your thoughts, and then have your thoughts spilled out into words that you wish you have not uttered? Have you had to spend 20 acts of kindness to undo one word that cut another person? If so, would it be profitable for you and me to take genuine inventories of our personal attitudes towards life that's constantly influencing our relationships? This is why it's so important to put ourselves around other people who are also wanting to know the words of Jesus, to try to find out how you may share your attitude and pray together so that you can be transformed on the inside, so that your thoughts can be different and your words can create a new reality, and a new destiny. Sometimes these patterns are so ingrained that we simply can't correct them all by ourselves. I really truly know of no other subject in the world as important as this one subject, because we can see how our words, just tossed out into the universe, are done every day in politics. People just are not able to comprehend how harmful their words are to others. You say, well, that's just politics. No, that pattern is creating a nation who is becoming cruel and hateful and negligent of its citizens. Politics cannot cure this problem. Really, only Jesus can, by occupying the center of our being and changing our inner being so that our thoughts and words can become tools for change and optimism, hope, and a fruitful future. The power of words can go a long way into offering us a life of peace and joy, goodwill, and good relationships. Ecclesiastes 7:3 says, "Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better." This is a devotional by Oswald Chambers, Receiving Yourself in the Fires of Sorrow. He says, as a saint of God, my attitude towards sorrow and difficulty should not be to ask that they be prevented, but to ask that God protect me so that I may remain what He created me to be in spite of all my fires of sorrow. Our Lord received Himself, accepting His position and realizing His purpose in the midst of the fire of sorrow. He was saved not from the hour, but out of the hour. We say that there ought to be no sorrow, but there is sorrow, and we have to accept and receive ourselves in its fires. If we try to evade sorrow, refusing to deal with it, we're foolish. Sorrow is one of the biggest facts in life, and there's no use in saying it should not be. Sin, sorrow, and suffering are, and it is not for us to say that God has made a mistake in allowing them. Sorrow removes a great deal of a person's shallowness, but it does not always make that person better. Suffering either gives me to myself or it destroys me. You cannot find or receive yourself through success because you lose your head over pride, and you cannot receive yourself through the monotony of your daily life because you give in to complaining. The only way to find yourself is in the fires of sorrow. Why it should be this way is immaterial. The fact is that it is true in the Scriptures and in human experience. You can always recognize who has been through the fires of sorrow and receive himself, and you know that you can go to him in your moment of trouble and find that he has plenty of time for you. But if a person has not been through fires of sorrow, he is apt to be contemptuous, having no respect or time for you, only turning you away. If you'll receive yourself in the fires of sorrow, God will make your nourishment for other people. God will make you nourishment for other people. Am I getting nobler, better, more helpful, more humble as I get older? Am I exhibiting the life that men take knowledge of as having been with Jesus? Or am I getting more self-assertive, more deliberately determined to have my own way? It is a great thing to tell yourself the truth. Oswald Chambers. Write to Dr. Martha Toney, P.O. Box 160053, Boiling Springs, South Carolina, 29316, or go to marthatoney.com. Please, when you write, feel free to send us your prayer request or just a few words about yourself and your own spiritual journey. We're always interested in hearing from you. And now, keep walking in the light. Till next time.